Great. Hey guys, we are here today at Digital Scouting live from the headquarters in Hamburg, Germany and in the Netherlands. Today we have Ronald Kasteel, CEO from Onegini. Thank you very much for joining us here today. And for everybody that is wondering, wasn't this show supposed to be yesterday? Yes, it was, but we had some technical difficulties, so we do it today. Thank you very much for being here, Ronald.
Thank you very much for Robin for taking the time to have this interview, and I'm very happy to be in your broadcast today.
Yeah, and by the way, it's a special broadcast because we pimped our studio here. If you see behind me, we put something away, and now we have books and other things there in order to make it appear a real studio. So it's like the first version of the new show.
I'm feeling delighted.
Yeah. No, there's so many live shows out there now, and I'm thinking, they cannot look better than us. Let's talk about the Dutch insurance market. You have been there active as a senior decision maker, C-suite, parallel entrepreneur. What do the people need to know about the Dutch insurance market when it comes to size, number of competitors, and products sold?
Yeah, let's start with the insurers in itself. What you see, and I think that it's the same in all kinds of countries. There's a tremendous consolidation trend going on as of 2008 already. Today, about 30% down compared to 2008 in terms of number of insurers in the Dutch market. If you look towards the several domains where the insurers are active in the health insurance market, the top four have around 80% of revenues, growth written premiums. And if you look towards non-life as well as to life and pensions, you see more or less the same. The top three have around 60 to 70% of the growth of the premiums. So consolidation really takes place as one major trend. The second trend which you see on the back of it, in order to drive efficiencies as the first objective, is that people are digitalizing themselves in order to bring the cost base down. And that's also a second trend that you see. And to my opinion, as said, that will be the same in all countries.
And what kind of use cases did surprise you? Or what kind of digitalization transformation projects at insurers you were seeing over the years and saying, well, that was actually a good job, and they actually, that could others learn from it?
Yeah, what you saw in, let's say, the early days is that all those insurers developed their legacy systems themselves. They used IT investments, also given the fact that the customers couldn't look for systems off the shelf. After the first phase, you see that most of the insurers invested in, let's say, efficiency gains, implemented end-to-end back office solutions in themselves in order to gain those efficiencies. And what you see as the next trend is that the customer is becoming of importance. So they are looking for portals, they are looking for apps that could be useful in their domain. And within that, you see that customer identity and access management is gaining importance.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you need for digital fronts, and you need all of that. You need all the onboarding of customers and clients. But I'm going to ask all my Onegini related questions just in a bit, because I think it's super exciting also for the audience to know. If you're out there and you have a question about the Dutch market or about identity management, don't hesitate to ask us. We are streaming live on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Periscope, and even today, first time on Facebook. If we don't see your question, don't worry, write them in LinkedIn is the place where we go and see actually everything. Let me check if anybody asked already of something. All right.
Maybe it's interesting, Robin, also to tell a bit of a storyline about the Insurtech space.
Yeah, totally.
Very driven about the fact that, to my opinion, the Benelux market is a bit in its advanced stages compared to other countries. And that's also what you see on the back of that is that there are a lot of insurance tech companies around there. All the insurers have their programs with incumbents. And that's also what you see in several countries. But if you look to some promising ones, I told you already in the first wave about, let's say, efficiency gains. Companies like Keylane with an end-to-end solution in improving back office operations is one of them. I don't know if you're familiar with Friss. They went out global, a very beautiful artificial intelligence-backed claims handling solution, looking for fraud detections. Another one, it's a kind of startup. It's Open Claims, where they are improving repair management, ensuring that customers are improving their NPS scores and gaining efficiencies in the repair management process. So there are a lot. It's also the digital insurance group with more and more a global presence. It's really an interesting market to be active in.
So since you said it's a market that has been consolidating a lot over the years, do you say you would recommend others to enter, or you say no, it's actually super mature? Or what kind of companies watching right now you would recommend it might be a good idea to reach out to the Dutch market? And how do you do it in the best way?
I think the market in the Netherlands is relatively mature when it comes to the insurers itself. I see that some are still trying to enter in the market. One German insurer just entered in the Dutch market, I know. It's Rion. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly, but to my opinion, it's Rion Versicherungen. They entered in the Dutch market and are doing pretty well. Apart from that, I see that a lot of foreigners tried in the history to enter in the Dutch market, but then they see that, let's say, due to the consolidation trend, it's a rather mature market. Looking for the Insurtech part as part of the market, also there you see that foreigners try to enter in the market, but also there, due to the fact that this is not in its infancy phase anymore, it's rather difficult to gain market share.
Yeah, I asked this because we did actually some research for an insurer or for an insurance company about potential international expansion. And I think we don't have too many white spaces in Europe anymore, at least not in the West. And I think that's a good sign. And I would say you need to partner up with a local partner. Established and that also can test you if you like it and if you and do all the connections and all of that. But thank you for the part on the Dutch market. And I'm half Dutch myself, so that's always something very close to me.
That's new for me.
Ja, we kunnen ook een beetje Nederlands praten, but I think then the rest of the audience would not appreciate that.
I will not understand you.
You were a senior decision maker in the Dutch insurance industry. You led large organizations. You are co-founder of Keylane, which is also a Dutch company. And now, then you went to identity management. Why? What does fascinate you? And what do people need to know about the complexity of digital identity management?
Yes, thank you for asking that. The reason for joining this initiative is, in essence, that I like something where something happens, where growth perspectives are there. And as said, in the wave of looking for efficiencies and now really being customer-centric, it's an interesting market to be active in. That's the CM space. Secondly, what I really like is that on the back of the transition that the CM space is making from security-oriented towards looking for real business value that's a space where I think that I can add value towards these kind of businesses. And secondly, looking for the specific company, it's about people. It's always about people, and I like the people within Onegini, and that's the reason for joining them.
Identity management. Why is it so important? I mean, let me rephrase maybe. I had my contact with identity management when I tried to open a bank account at a challenger bank and at a traditional German bank. And one took me like 8 weeks and several visits to the retail store. Another was done on a Sunday night at, I think, 11 o'clock at night. You might guess which one was which, but I think that your guess will be right. What is the importance of that? And maybe share a little bit more about how does good identity management work today, and why is that so important?
Yes, let's start with something I saw on the web today out of a study of Capgemini on the insurance market, and it starts all with the customers, to my point of view. And what they said is the customer of today is somebody who really likes to have a personalized engagement. That's where it all starts. So that means that customers in the companies in the insurance market need to have a real omni-channel experience for their customer base. That's one. And when it comes towards customer identity and access management, then it's important to have a reliable digital registration and login process. That means for customers, from their perspective and their high level of demands, it's important to have single sign-on as an opportunity.
Yeah.
That when you log in several times, you don't need for each product to log in again, but there is a single sign-on. It's about multi-factor authentication as an interesting use case, so that we really know that you say that you are who you are, that you're really you. That's important, and that's where Onegini as a software vendor kicks in. And what we saw, and that was the same tendency in back office operations. The insurance companies, first of all, thought that it would be useful to develop all these kinds of functionalities themselves. Yeah. And you see here the same tendency, that given the fact that there are proper solutions off the shelf, that customers move on towards buying those off-the-shelf products.
And I think what's also important is that, you have the regulator in insurance and finance, to really know which customer boards on and which point in time, I think is super important. And that your client, the insurer and the bank can actually say, we know which this person is. Otherwise, you have like really big problems with money laundering and fraud and all these things.
Absolutely. So know your customer is a domain where companies, as well as banks, as well as insurers, are investing heavily. And then it comes to identity verification. And then in several countries in Europe, there are several schemes that can be used for that identification, that can be government supported or privately held initiatives, or it's video identification, like the company in Germany, like NECT, which is a nice initiative over there. And
which is a company from Hamburg, just a few miles down the road. So, But
so when customers are identified, then it's important to have this identity and access and management solution in place, which connects the outside world with the inner world, so that we, in the end of the day, really know that you are you.
And one more question to the audience. I see you on the different channels. You are there. We have like dozens of people only on the different ways we stream to LinkedIn. We stream to 2 different places on LinkedIn, into the live show group and on my profile.
Robin, are you telling me that it works today?
Yes. I'm not telling. I wanted to say. Now we have the opportunity to ask you some questions, some also nerdy questions about identity and technology questions. And I want to motivate everybody who has a question, maybe also about the Dutch market, to say that and to really do that. Because sometimes we are like already at the end of the show, and then there come a lot of great questions. Yeah. All right.
Ronald is still there, so ask him.
I have one, and because I think I have been also responsible for digital products at a bank, at insurers, and it was always so difficult to solve a very complex problem. For example, know your customer sounds maybe for non-insurance and finance nerds totally boring and easy. Yeah, you need to know who I am, but it's like super complex, like technically with all the systems in place. And when you sign up to things, I had a lot of times experience what is super painful. Like with 27 different, sign-on things you need to do. How do you do it that the client, the end customer, actually, that it's not a pain point for him? Because, it is, one in a lot of cases. So what is your secret sauce of success? Just to share with us and a few hundred others.
I will not tell you everything, Robin, as you might know. But what I can tell you, it differs per individual country. But looking for the Netherlands, there are all kinds of identity schemes available for people that they can use. Sometimes it's enforced by the government agencies. That's called in the Netherlands DigiD, or for businesses it's e-herkenning. So those can be used to do the identity verification, which can be used when people log in. And that's one part. If you look towards Germany, it's Verify or it's Yes when it comes towards some initiatives. But it's also on the identity verification side where it comes to video identification, which is although rather easy. And in Germany, which is in that way very advanced, you have companies like Next, you have ID Now, you have Web ID, where you can go as a customer and do the identity verification. But that's in essence where the story starts.
Yeah.
If then the bank or insurance company has a proper identity and access management system in place, then there will be a seamless flow to enter in their applications. And next time you log in, they know that it will be secure, given the fact that we have your profile in our databases.
We talk now a lot about, how to actually manage identities and know your customer. I think super important for the technology that exists today, but we have some new technology on the rise. Voice, for example. We have the voice community is getting stronger. People have Alexa skills and Alexa at their home. And last week, actually, we had Susan Westwater, one of the thought leaders in that space, in our show. And isn't the know your customer in that space also important? Or where do you see the trends? Where do you see future use cases? And what, I mean, you're the CEO. Where are you investing in without sharing too many secrets?
Where we are investing in is driven by the fact that it's about security, but more also about, let's say, the business value. What we are doing is that for the insurance company that we service, on our roadmaps are all kinds of initiatives where we already have out-of-the-box integrations with or vertical software providers or CRM solutions like Salesforce. We are investing in connections with all kinds of verification parties so that everything can be seamless going forward. We will not do everything ourselves, so we will build an ecosystem of partnerships with technology providers like the ones that you just addressed in your storyline.
I think that's a super important point. I was already thinking about, future trends in 10 years and 5 years, but I think the true attractiveness lies really also when do I actually want a service provider, when the integration into system is super seamless. And, we all know the stories of implementation project that take years and even billions and get then revised. Shout out to Vienna, by the way. I think we're going to lose some viewers now from that region. But I want to say, I think that's something that is a totally no-brainer that you invest in these platforms, and we see this, I think, in a lot of other industries too.
Yeah, Robin, and in that way, what Onegini does is that we really make onboarding for digital customers easy and safe, and that's our purpose going forward, and that's why we are here on Earth.
Another question, that's why you're here. A little bird told me that you are having an internationalization strategy, and also know people from your team that are not working in Holland. And I know you're super strong in the Netherlands, in the Benelux countries, and in the Nordics. What is your next target, and who are you looking for?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. And thank you, Bert, for saying this story to you. If you look towards the strategy of Onegini, we started in the Netherlands with our launching customer Aegon in the insurance market. We build our presence there. We are market leader in the finance vertical in the Benelux. And now we thought that it would be useful that also customers outside of the Netherlands could use our software going forward. And I can tell you, Robin, the first country that we do next is Germany. So what we are investing in is in the team for marketing and sales in Germany. They are building the pipeline, and hopefully we will convert the first customer out of it soon, and then go forward. But ultimately, we have a more multinational strategy. So after Germany, we will look for the next countries.
I have a voice in my head from various CTOs that are probably going to ask you these questions, not you, but your sales team, the questions like, okay, you're strong in your home country. That makes total sense because you know all the nuts and bolts of everything. But now you're in a new country, new language, even though both languages are related. Isn't that difficult, and is it already ready to be applied also like for documents in different languages?
So what we have, our website is already in German, so that's a good starting point. So everybody can visit us along the website. We will communicate in German, given the fact that we have a local team out there. We have a ecosystem of partners that can be helpful in doing the implementations. And what I can tell you, that's also the good news for today, is that our implementations are rather easy. It's a configurable solution, and that makes the implementation more easy than some of our competitors, and that will be helpful. And so we will talk in German when we do our implementations in German, but always with support out of the home country.
And I think what's great, and I think it's great that we have this discussion about internationalization. Maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it was like more an advantage to be like on one country. But what you and a lot of other service providers and solution providers can offer is the learnings also from other countries.
Yeah,
and if you're like a market leader, you just said it like in a half sentence, but I think it's okay to repeat. You're very dark right now. I think the Dutch.
I'm flexible. Back again.
Yeah, very good. Oh, it's even better.
Robin, the sun is always shining in the Netherlands. That was the reason why.
Yeah, here's the sun shining too, but it's like battery driven. But what I want to say is, I think what's super important for technology is actually that when you have a company that is in different countries active, that you can have also the learnings, for example, in fraud or know your customers. And I think that's something that's actually super attractive, that you're not having only a database coming from one
Robin,
country.
that's exactly in line with our strategy. We said to ourselves, we don't shoot from the hip. It's important when we go abroad that we can rely on a proper track record in a specific vertical. And as said, it's not just about security, it's also about business value. And then focusing on the insurance vertical, we can bring all kinds of relevant track record towards also the foreign markets. And in that way, we can be very helpful.
All right, Ronald, thank you very much until here. We're doing something where we do always before we round up. That's a shout out to everybody who participated. Again, we are like on 5 platforms, so I'm probably not going to able to shout out everybody. What we can have: Mart, Stefan, Thomas, Mark, Eduardo, Kirill, Guido Fassbender, shout out to you, Moshe from Brooklyn.
No, it's fine.
And from London, you have people from all around the world here. Thank you for being here. And my question to you is, my last one is, what could, because you said ecosystems, what could the industry do for you? Or is there anything we can do for you after you shared now your knowledge here?
If we could make sure that this year we have our first customer in Germany, I will be very happy. And we will do our utmost to be supportive to them. And in terms of pricing, we are even willing to lower our price, given the fact that the first customer for us in Germany is of utmost importance.
Oh, we could actually do like a competition now. We could say who becomes the first Onegini customer in Germany gets a special prize.
Exactly.
All right. I think a lot of people will now forward this link to their CTOs and say, okay, we need to chat. All right, and thank you very much for your time. And again, thank you very much for your patience. We tried this yesterday, like at least 27 hours yesterday. Thank you for your time again. I know you have a lot of things to do. And everybody out there, thank you very much for participating from around the world. Next week, we have Martin Mikko, CEO from Omnios, AI company, super interesting about AI. Then we have a guest from South Africa, Brian Richardson. The weeks after that, we have Nick Gerhardt, like one of the most known people in the insurance industry in the US. We also have Thomas Heindel from Life Insurance of 1871. The week after that, we have Brian Wallace, Alex Horowitz, Chris Cheatham, and Joe Bassani. We're full, and we have some super big secrets and other guests lined up that we're going to announce. So Ronald, you're in a very good group. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much everybody out there for hanging in with us here.
I'm looking forward for the next time, Robin. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.